So we knew that there was a bribery side to this, but now it's emerging there is actually a tax side of this. The company at the center of the cheating scandal, called Key Worldwide Financial, or KWF, was designated as a charity, so parents could actually write off those six-figure bribes from their taxes. Now, the IRS is looking at where the money went and whether some of those deductions could actually be clawed back. Now, KWF was approved by a charity by the IRS in 2014. Its tax forms show $7 million in contributions between 2013 and 2016, and total payouts of about $5 million. Now, Singer, who's the head of it, took no official salary. More than a dozen colleges and groups received money from Key. Some of those colleges were not named in the initial scandal, so they're kind of new to this picture. Along with USC and Yale, you have the University of Texas, NYU, Chapman, and the University of Miami. They all received hundreds of thousands of dollars from KWF. Now, the University of Texas told us that it's in the process of reviewing the more than $250,000 it received. Chapman said of the $150K that it got, it intends to review this relationship in depth to assure that none of our principals have been compromised. Now, the IRS said it's investigating the parents who made a total of $25 million in donations to the foundation and then, of course, claimed it on their taxes. So in addition to the charges of conspiracy to commit mail fraud and honest services fraud, the parents could also now face charges of tax fraud.
I mean, I just keep wondering, if you're looking at the broader issue of fairness and whether you can buy your way into these colleges, whether you can influence your way in, I mean, it's going to dig a lot deeper than just this. But the idea that you can make a donation to a school, I think it brings the tax status of a lot of these colleges into question, too, for these private universities.
Especially the wealthier ones, where someone can give, millions or tens of hundreds of millions and then write it off on their taxes and then get their children in. But there's also a bigger question of the IRS and its effectiveness and lack of resources. Should they have noticed that this guy took no salary, that they had no real board of directors, that some of the money went to Singer's son's school, $150,000 that he gave. Yeah. Some of these schools, some of these organizations beyond the colleges that he gave to, there's something called Friends of Cambodia, which said we never received any money from this thing. So, really? Yeah. And a couple other weird foundations that I called that it's unclear what they do. So many say, look, this was so obviously not a charity, the IRS should have noticed.
Right.
But there must be millions of non-for-profit organizations that are.
But this was large. This was their revenue was doubling every year. Again, they took in $25 million. So yes, there are a lot of little outfits out there that aren't worth it.
Artificial intelligence would catch those things, like just red flags if it's doubling.
Exactly.
To say, hey, humans, take a look at those.
Exactly.
How many more shoes are left to drop in terms of?
Is this an ongoing investigation?
Well, what was fascinating about this, and what I looked at when I looked at these IRS forms on Friday, is that these universities were not named in the initial scandal. Texas, Miami, Chapman. So were there people that bribed to get into those schools that we haven't heard about? We know that the feds have said other people will be prosecuted, whether it's the coaches and people or whether it's the parents themselves. Is there more sharing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Endless jokes about.
On the internet, it's a couple of the people that got in for rowing.
Yes.
It's their first day rowing, and on the internet there's a video of a rowing, it's basically underwater, and they're trying to. That's their first day of
They
crew.
had rowed on a chronometer before once to get the picture.
So,
you know what? I hesitate to laugh. I do. I know this is a serious matter, but the Twitter sphere it doesn't care. It goes crazy.
No, it's just so absurd. And again, I think
the seats it takes away from the students who should have been there. That's the outrage.
Had you seen that already?
I had not seen it. And the fact that icing on the cake that this was all subsidized by taxpayers,
right?
Because they all wrote up. I mean, that was
that's how they got caught. They were doubly greedy. Not only did they want to buy their way in, they wanted to write it off on taxes.
And it's going to be hard to defend because all of them signed a letter after the foundation sent them, said, I did not receive anything of value from this donation. They all signed that letter when they gave that gift. So it's going to be tough to say.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's going to be tough to say I'm innocent on that tax fraud.